amazing to me, but we had a lot of music. I had a 2-baby stroller, a backpack, and a front pack. And we'd walk the neighborhood twice a day, and I looked like a possum going down the street. And we had a nice little backyard and a nice little deck and all that. So the babies were very healing for me. They were just fabulous. I kept them for a year until they got mobile. And then I think we mutually agreed it was time to give it up because they were going everywhere. And they were so funny. The fourth one that came, Emma, who cried so much. The others, and keep in mind, these babies aren't a year old yet. They're right out of here. They pat her on the back and also would go, "Oh, cry, Em, oh, cry, oh, cry." They were just so sweet with each other. We did music, their favorite, so twice a day we had music of every kind under the sun, from rock and country to symphony and whatnot. Their favorite song of all was Rod Stewart's Hot Legs. So they were fun. We loved it. So we kept the babies until about a year, and then I had to tell the moms, I can't do this anymore. I just can't. If it had been one or two, different. And they all cried, and I cried, and we said our goodbyes. And then I decided I was going to, still didn't want to go back to the classroom, so I opened a math tutoring service out of our house. And that was until 2000, when we moved up here full time. And when we moved, I had 21 students that came to me after school. Most of them came twice a week. It was good money. It was wonderful teaching experience. If you ever have a chance to do tutoring, do it. It's one-on-one. The parents love you. The kids do well. The kids had to call me every night, so I'd meet with them 2 nights a week, and the nights they didn't come, they had to call me and tell me what their assignment was for that day. If they hadn't called by 9 o'clock, I called them. So they had somebody else besides mom and dad they had to own up to. And that went well for everybody. I loved it, absolutely loved it. And I'm still in touch with several of those kids now. So Dave and I moved to Chimney Rock in 2000 in this little cottage over on South Side. No central heat and air. We had a gas room heaters, and then the little roll-arounds with the, well, you know what it is on South Side, Danny, but you've got heat and air. We didn't have until, we lived there 6 years until we bought the Boys Camp Road house.
3 o'clock the sun goes down.
And the year before we moved, we kept saying, well, do we need to buy a real house and move, or is this okay? And we were living below our means, put money aside, it worked. We were working 24/7, and we weren't home that much anyway. So we renovated the kitchen, put in central heat and air, put on a new roof and whatnot. No more got K Enterprise did all the work. We no more got that all finished. Then Boys Camp Road came on the market. And I thought, we're going to buy this house. And I purely loved that house. So we moved to Boys Camp in 06 and loved it.
Just as it went off the cliff.
Yeah. In 03, I got a real estate license because I came here and I thought, I loved teaching. It was the best thing I ever did, my most favorite thing. But I didn't love mountain roads at 6:30 in the morning. And when you teach, you need to be in your classroom, at the door, not in the room, but at the door by 6:50 every morning. Now, it's one thing to be up and have coffee and in your jammies, and it's another to be out the door and thinking at 6:45 in the morning. So I just wanted to do it. So got a real estate license, and the rest is sort of history. In December of 2016, I was diagnosed with multiple myeloma after I'd broken a few ribs, and they all knew there was something going on. And so we've been in treatment and all that good stuff since. I still do real estate. Julie does the bulk of it, and still have listings, still selling. Had an offer this week we were working on. So loved it. Questions?
Can you imagine her ever quitting?
No.
Did I talk too long?
No.
I have a tendency to do that.
Perfect.
When did number 3 son have his accident? You were coming to the church.
I didn't hear, I'm sorry.
When did number 3 son have the accident? You were coming to
Number
the church.
3, that was in Missouri in 2012.
2012.
Yeah.
You were at the church then.
He's been, Ted, the third one, has been a handful since he was a little boy. One of the oval pictures, he and his brother, you can just see the devil popping out of their eyes. And it still is. So Ted married a classmate, a girl that I had taught in high school in 2000. And they were together 9 years and they divorced. It broke my heart. It turns out Ted was bipolar, is bipolar. We didn't know it. But all that manifested after the divorce. He graduated, he did well, went on and got 2 master's degrees. But he fell apart. And the bipolar manifested. In 2012, he had told me that he was staying with his dad and he was taking some classes. Turns out he wasn't. He was homeless. He was living out of his truck, not working. He was sleeping one night in a motel where he didn't have a room, didn't pay. The door was unlocked, so it wasn't breaking and entering, but he was where he shouldn't have been. Manager came, called the sheriff. Sheriff came. He jumps off the 2nd floor back and he went to the truck and runs away.
Wow.
It was kind of like my line in the 2nd grade. You don't do that. So the police and the sheriff and everybody else led chase. It ended in a car wreck. He was in his truck. He ended in a car wreck. He had a gun in the car, a rifle or a shotgun, that actually belonged to the sheriff of a nearby town, who was a good friend, and then loaned it to him. Wasn't loaded, but it was still a gun. You can't tell an empty one from a loaded one. So he got it out and was, he says, throwing it out to the police. The police say he aimed it at them. I wasn't there. But they opened fire. They hit him 9 times. The call I got Sunday morning, we'd just gotten home from church. My sister called with a message. He and his dad are not close at all. They've batted heads for a long time. So my sister called and the message was, he's on life support, he's non-responsive. So we went to, I went to Barnes, met my sister there. He was in Barnes Hospital in St. Louis for a month. Finally got out, he was put in county jail. He was in jail for 2 years, waiting trial. A lot of money later, he was found guilty, he was sentenced. He got credit for time served and was put on probation, so he didn't go back to jail anymore there. But 2 years, whenever it was, 4 years ago, for whatever reason, he decided to drive to Texas. And he broke parole when he did that. Apparently he had a busted tail light or a tailbolt was out. They stopped him on a traffic stop as he was headed back to Missouri. They noticed there was a warrant out for him, and so they arrested him. He has spent the last 4 years in a Texas prison. He just was released on July 8th. So that's who I'm going to see this Saturday. I'm going to St. Louis to spend a week with him. Yes.
Wow.
So it's been rough. So all my life, I only wanted to be a mom and a mother and a nurse. Didn't make the nurse part, but I helped a lot go, and I did get to be a mom. I don't have any grandkids from my boys, but we have from David's, and that's good. And a lot of nieces and nephews. So that's it. Questions? Everybody wants to see them. There's some pictures up here. If you looked at the baby pictures, the room where all the babies are was converted to a tutoring room. So we made dual use of that room. That's it. Any questions? Any others? Nope.
Wow.
Thank you so much. Listen. So there's pictures here if anybody wants to look at them. What does this go?
It's fine where it is. It's fine where it is.
So don't